Okay, so buckle up, because today we are diving headfirst into the wild, wacky world of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. We've got some excerpts from the book, and let me tell you, it's a doozy.
It's amazing, isn't it, how this book takes these completely absurd situations and somehow makes you think about, well, life, the universe, the big stuff.
Right. I mean, the story kicks off with Earth being demolished. Demolished.
Gosh.
To make way for a hyperspace bypass.
Yeah, talk about a bad day. But that's what makes it so brilliant. You've got Arthur Dent, this ordinary guy,
Yeah.
and suddenly his whole world is literally gone. Poof.
Makes you wonder, how would you react in that situation? Would you panic? Would you make a cup of tea?
You'd hope you'd handle it with Arthur's bewildered charm, right? But who knows? And then, of course, there's Ford Prefect, Arthur's friend. Turns out he's not just an out-of-work actor.
Oh yeah, Ford's got a few secrets up his sleeve.
To say the least. He's an alien
Hmm.
and stranded on Earth researching for this book.
The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Exactly. This guide is basically like the ultimate travel companion, but for the entire galaxy.
It's hilarious, full of these crazy entries about different alien species and planets and, like, intergalactic customs.
It really makes you think, what would an entry for Earth look like in that guide?
Good question. Okay, so we've got Arthur, who's just discovered his planet's been blown up, and his alien friend Ford. Where did they go from there?
Well, they end up hitching a ride on a spaceship. But not just any spaceship. This one's is powered by something called an improbability drive.
An improbability drive.
Yeah, you can probably guess where this is going. It can basically take you anywhere, instantly. But the catch is, you never know where you'll end up. Oh, and did I mention the ship is stolen?
Stolen? By whom?
Oh, just a small detail.
Yeah.
The thief is none other than Zaphod Beeblebrox, the two-headed, three-armed galactic president.
You can't make this stuff up.
And with him is Trillian. Arthur might recognize her. She's an astrophysicist he met at a party once. Now she's gallivanting across the cosmos with the galactic president. Talk about a glow-up.
So we've got a stolen spaceship, a two-headed president, a bewildered human, and an alien researcher along for the ride. What could possibly go wrong?
You're just getting started. They haven't even reached Magrathea yet.
Magrathea.
The legendary planet of Magrathea. It's where they make custom-designed planets for the super rich.
Hold on, you're telling me planets are like designer handbags in this universe?
Exactly. And it turns out Earth. Well, Earth wasn't just any random planet.
Okay, this is where it gets really mind-blowing.
Earth was actually a giant computer designed to calculate the ultimate question of life, the universe, and everything.
The ultimate question. That's a pretty big question.
It is. And guess what? We already have the answer. Well, sort of.
We have the answer, but not the question.
You got it.
So we left off with the answer to the ultimate question, but still searching for the question itself. But before we dive back into that, we've got to talk about this crazy place they end up, the restaurant at the end of the universe.
Ah, yes. The restaurant. Where else can you enjoy a delicious meal while watching the universe explode around you? Talk about dinner and a show, right?
Seriously. It's like this front row seat to the end of everything. But it makes you think, doesn't it? This whole idea of time and space, maybe it's not as straightforward as we think.
Not at all. The restaurant kind of throws everything we know about cause and effect out the window. The end is happening, but it's always happening. Makes your head spin a bit.
Definitely. And speaking of spinning heads, what about Zaphod? We find out a bit more about our two-headed president in this part.
We do indeed. And let's just say his rise to power might be a little more, shall we say, complicated than it seems.
It's a little less than above board.
Perhaps. There are hints of conspiracies, manipulations.
Makes you wonder, is anyone who they seem to be in this universe?
It's a good question. And it's not just Zaphod. Remember the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy itself? Even that's not immune to a little manipulation.
That's true. I mean, we found out it was a corporate buyout. Who knows what they're changing in there?
Exactly. The point is, information isn't always what it seems. But going back, let's not forget about the supercomputer that gave us this answer in the first place.
Deep thought, right? The one that took 7.5 million years to come up with 42 seems a bit excessive.
A bit. Especially since they couldn't tell us what the question was. Which brings us back to Earth.
Ah, good old Earth. Or should I say, not so good, completely obliterated Earth.
Right. The reason Earth was chosen for demolition, it wasn't random.
It wasn't.
It was the next generation of supercomputer. He was going to calculate the ultimate question.
So we were so close.
So close. But there might be a sliver of hope yet. Arthur, having lived on Earth, He might actually hold pieces of that question within him.
You're saying Arthur, this ordinary, bewildered guy, he's the key to it all.
He just might be. He's a product of the very planet that was trying to solve this mystery. Talk about being in the right place at the wrong time, eh?
Talk about an understatement.
Well, yeah.
But he's up against some tough competition, right? I mean, with these ancient prophecies, the Vogons, and now this corporation that's taken over the guide.
It's a lot, but that's what makes it so compelling, right?
Mhm.
We've got this average guy thrown into this extraordinary, utterly absurd situation, and yet he never loses that, I don't know, that spark of wonder.
It's true. He's just along for the ride, but he's somehow making the best of it. He laughs, he gets frustrated, he makes us think.
Exactly. And that's what makes this book so brilliant. It's funny, it's thought-provoking, and it reminds us that sometimes the best way to deal with the absurdity of it all is to just embrace it and buckle up, because it's about to get even weirder.
So here we are. The universe is hanging by a thread, the guide's gone haywire, and Arthur Dent, our man of the hour, is armed with, well, not much, just a towel. And maybe a bit of existential dread.
Sounds about right. But that's what makes it so compelling, isn't it? It's this constant reminder that even when things seem utterly chaotic, there's still this strange beauty to it all. And let's not forget, things are about to get even more interesting.
Oh, that's right. We haven't even talked about the Cricket Wars, a whole race of robots bent on destroying everything. Talk about a bad day at the office.
The cricket robots are fascinating, really. They represent this kind of ultimate nihilism. They believe that if they can't have the universe, no one can. It's darkly funny in a way, when you think about it.
If you can call universal annihilation funny. But hey, who are we to judge? So how do they plan on destroying, well, everything?
With the silver bale, of course. It's this ancient artifact, incredibly powerful.
And where is this silver bale?
Last scene. A party hosted by the one and only Eccentrica Galambits.
Now there's a name that screams intergalactic socialite. I bet her parties are legendary.
Legendary might be an understatement. And that's where our heroes, or rather our accidental saviors, come in.
Arthur, Ford, Zaphod.
The gang's all here.
Uh-huh.
And they're going to try to stop these robots from getting their non-existent hands on the silver bale. Should be a walk in the park, right?
As long as that park is located in a parallel dimension, crawling with bureaucratic aliens and killer robots, sounds like a typical Tuesday in this universe.
Precisely. But that's the beauty of it all. It keeps us on our toes, makes us question everything.
And speaking of questioning everything, what about the guide? Have we figured out what's going on with that? Last we heard, it was sentient and terrifying people with its mere presence.
Ah, yes. The guide. It's gone from a handy travel companion to a force to be reckoned with. It's this perfect example of how even the most useful tools can become dangerous in the wrong, or in this case, the right, hands.
A cautionary tale for the digital age, if I've ever heard one. So, where do we leave off? We've got robots on a rampage, a sentient guidebook wreaking havoc, and Arthur Dent, towel in hand, still searching for the ultimate question.
In a nutshell, yes. But ultimately, that's what makes The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy such a timeless classic, is this wild, hilarious, and surprisingly thought-provoking journey through the absurdities of life, the universe, and everything in between. It reminds us not to take things too seriously, to embrace the unknown, and to never, ever lose our sense of wonder. And maybe, just maybe, to carry a towel. You never know when you might need it.
Words to live by. Well, that's it for our deep dive into The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. We hope you enjoyed this wild ride through the cosmos. Remember, don't panic and always know where your towel is. Until next time, keep exploring.